Good evening, everybody. Question and answers with John. We're trialing it to see what kind of interest there might be and whether it would serve people once a quarter to have an opportunity to ask general questions of a spiritual nature. It's interesting because Haresha said, hello, Helen, Tanya, and Ola. Obviously, you don't expect John to come and answer these questions then. You think Helen, Tanya, and Ola are going to answer them. That could prove distracting. However, we're going to see. Tony is sitting in because he wants to sit in John's energy, don't you?
Okay.
Sit in John's energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon we could start. It's 45 minutes or less if John decides he's had enough of the questions.
Okay.
But if he likes them, he could go on and on and on. So 45 minutes is the maximum for me, Orla, please.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. Yeah.
It's been a long day. Okay. So I shall go in. Oh, here it is. And we bid you welcome.
Welcome, John.
Welcome.
Welcome, John.
You can relax and rest your journey. Nothing more to endure or suffer. Do you see?
Lost for words.
Very good.
Thank you.
We will talk more about that on another occasion. However, you need to know that now. And we are doing this because there has been a lot of trauma for the Tony. Do you see?
Yes.
Now, we understand you got a question for us to answer.
Yes, we do. We have a few questions, if you're happy to answer them.
If we know the answer.
Okay. I say it's likely, but let's go ahead. The first question is from Kelly. Kelly says, though I have been pursuing different possibilities and opportunities, I have not connected to the work and financial flow. In the past, the pieces have fallen in place despite myriad challenges. In this transition, every step was challenging, discombobulated, difficult. Can you advise me, please, what this is all about?
Absolutely. Time to change. This is a period, as those of you listening to our monologues know, where over the past 3 months it's been about choice, about making different choices. And although you think you are making some different choices, the core of what you are doing is the same. Look at the struggle from the perspective of what is it showing you that needs to be different now. This is not that you are failing, that you are not doing the proper circumstance. It's asking you to make a different choice about how you do what you do. Very good. Of course, Kelly is then going to want to know, well, what does that mean? It means that based upon the piece of answer we've given, meditate on what it is about the how that there is a choice to not adjust, to change. Do you see?
Okay. Yes.
Very good. And that will apply
you.
to others who are sitting at this point in time, trying to move forward, and is happening, but it's hard work. It's hard work because they're trying to do what they always done with the attitudes they always had.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to work. New energy, age of enlightenment. You cannot have an age of enlightenment if you are stuck in old thought patterns. Be creative. It's a good time.
Good.
Very good.
Thank you. The next question is from Doris. It's, can you please explain what happens with our soul and personality when we have an organ transplant? Can one become the donor's personality? And is the soul affected when one has a heart transplant?
That is not one question.
No, it's no, it's not.
No, it's three. We think.
We think.
What occurs with an organ transplant is not just about the transplant. If you got to have medication because there are reactions occurring that are very strong, the energy of the donated organ is fighting the energy of the individual receiving it. They do not operate at the same frequency.
Mm-hmm.
As a consequence, whichever one wins will determine the success or failure of the transplant.
Oh, wow.
If the donor organ is able to be absorbed into that personality, the personality will change in one way or another. In some instances dramatically, in others more subtly. Because now you've got two frequencies cohabiting the one space.
Mm-hmm.
However, if it's not absorbed and is totally rejected, the organ will die. And quite often, if there is not an immediate organ to replace it, so will the donor.
Mm.
What needs to be understood is how open the donor, not the donor, the recipient. Because the donor is already dead, else you're not getting the organ. Is that not so?
True. That is true, yes.
The recipient, if the recipient is stubbornly fixated on being who they be, it's not going to work.
Right.
The organ has failed because of that stubbornness. Do you see?
Yes.
Here's an opportunity to adjust and to change. So if the personality is refusing to be open to allow such a situation, then you got a failure.
Mm.
The soul will be open because it's been pre-planned.
Mm.
But the personality, and we know you will all be shocked when we say this, personalities can be very stubborn.
What a surprise.
And so if the personality refuses to be open to a choice that enables an expansion, a growth kind of a situation, and says, once I get this, I can go and do everything I've been going and doing, then the personality gets in the way of the transplant itself, do you see?
Yes. So if the personality is looking at it as like a transaction, I'm getting this organ for my organ, that's going to get in the way. But if the personality is willing to see the bigger picture and the energy involved and the opportunity, then there's much better chance it will go well.
And with a heart transplant, that is about shifting frequency totally,
Oh,
which is a very complex situation. That is about a soul situation, nothing to do with the personality, do you see?
yes.
However, the personality will change as a consequence.
Okay.
That is all we will say about that at this point in time.
Okay, thank you. The next question is from Maria. It's really two questions. So I'll ask you the first question, which is how to best assist and support a family member or loved one that you have an emotional connection with when they're ready to pass away.
So if you take out with whom you have an emotional connection, the answer is simple. You are there for them. You are with them, supporting them through what it is they are facing and what their choice may or may not be. When you add the emotional connection, it's more about you.
Mm.
If you are going to assist that individual, being able to go beyond the emotional connection, not to ignore your own needs, however, not to bring them into the conversation with the other.
Mm.
If you can set aside your own needs in being there for that individual, then you are supporting them, you are assisting them, and it's a beautiful thing. You talk to others, you turn to others to support yourself, do you see?
Yeah.
And then you are
Yeah.
not suppressing, and the energy can flow beautifully. Grief and the stage of grieving is important. When someone knows that their journey is coming to an end, it's important to support them by being willing to grieve with them if that is what they choose. So many people do not want to talk about it because it's uncomfortable or it's upsetting. However, when you are upset, you are being set up to learn, are you not?
Yes, absolutely.
And so being able to have conversations, not to be only talking about this all of the time, but to be able to have conversations, to laugh at the past, to cry at the past, to laugh at the future, to cry at the future. It does not matter. But allowing the grieving between you is important. If you close down someone's grief, and for a long time in your world, grief was never accepted. You must be strong. You must not cry. You must not do this, that, and some other situation. It's not natural and it creates dis-ease. It's about loving the other enough to allow them to guide you in how they wish to be served by you. Do not go with the idea that you know best. You do not. Do you see?
Yes.
They know what they need. And if you are not able to supply that, then it's about saying that you cannot and finding someone who can. And then you can support them in other ways, do you see?
Yes. I read quite a long time ago on the same subject that at the point of passing, that it's really of help to be silent and even meditating. Is that true?
Rubbish.
Oh, okay. Well,
think about it. How many people in your world do not meditate?
Oh no, plenty.
So does that mean that they are not helping those who are passing? No.
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 And quite often at a stage of passing, people want to talk. It's the last opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
Saying it's good to be silent and to meditate, you are imposing that on the person in transition.
Mm-hmm.
They may not wish that.
Yeah.
It is helpful at the point of passing to be what the other needs. It's that simple. Do you see?
Yes. Thank you.
Good point.
The next question is from Haresh, and it is, how can we proactively and consciously be a part of this new heart energy the world is going into?
Is your heart open?
Is it that simple?
If your heart is not open, does not matter how proactive you want to be, how conscious you want to be, it's mental.
Mm.
We almost said you are mental. However, you are. You are operating at the level of the mental body. You are thinking, do I do this? Should I do that? Is it better to be this? No.
Mm.
If you want to be connected to this situation, forget proactive, forget conscious. If you wish to be connected energetically, it's about being willing to open your own heart, to allow your soul to guide you, not your attitudes, opinions, and judgments. Being willing to watch and follow the signs.
Yeah.
At the moment, your world is not very heart-centered at all.
No.
You got a lot of conflict because you got a lot of arrogance. The arrogance which says, I am superior, I know better, etc., etc. That arrogance is not just in your world leaders. It's in each of you. Each time you ignore a prompting from your heart, you are saying, I know better. Each time you have a second thought about something and decide, no, it's got to be this, not that, you know better.
Mm.
So connecting to the heart energy is about listening. Listening to the energy in which you find yourself and listening to how you respond or react to it.
Mm.
If you are reacting, is your personality. If you are responding, it's your heart. And the heart will respond even when it disagrees. In other words, it may disagree, but there's no judgment. There's no blame.
Okay.
So the simple answer after all of those words, open your hearts. That is all you got to do. Tiny little task. Do you suppose?
Yes.
So do we.
Piece of cake. A piece of the cake.
If everyone makes it a mountain they got to climb that is taller than the Everest.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see.
Mm.
And there's always a reason not to do so. Or to do it conditionally. The moment there is a condition, you are not in your heart.
So we make it an Everest in order to bring in a condition to avoid doing it. It's like a very long excuse up a mountaintop. Yeah.
That is so.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. The next question is from Anam, and she wants to know, is the 7 spiritual truths another expression of the 7 spiritual rays?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's easy.
2 different purposes.
Mm.
The 7 rays pertain to the evolution of the soul to the higher self. The 7 spiritual truths relate to the evolution of the personality to the soul.
Mm.
And even then, people argue and find ways not to do it, do you see?
Yeah, absolutely. They were the questions that were sent in. There is a second question from Maria. Can I ask that one?
Have we time, or is the channel going to throw us away?
No, we have a lot of time. It's we've only been on for 20 minutes, so there is time, yes.
Then we do not even need to do a lot of time, do we? How
No.
about that for being very efficient with the energy?
Extremely efficient, yes.
What we will say is this. Yes, you can ask the question of the Maria. However, before you do, once we have answered this question, if there is something in the answer we have given to the previous questions that someone wishes little bit more clarity about, they can ask.
Okay. I'll keep an eye on the comments.
Very good. So what is the question of the Maria?
So Maria's other question is, when seeking clarity and connecting to our guidance to ask a question, what is an easy indication to help differentiate between an answer that's coming from our guidance versus an answer coming from our mind or emotional body?
No judgment,
Mm-hmm.
no criticism, no blame, egotistical, telling you are wonderful. You have to do this, you must do that. When your guidance speaks to you, first of all, your guidance does not always answer your questions because it's not there to be your master Google in that way.
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yes.
You are supposed to meditate and find the answers for yourself in your own meditation. If you're always asking someone else to tell you the answers, how are you going to grow in your own knowing and wisdom?
Mm-hmm.
If the questions, however, are energy-based and about the bigger picture, then your guidance will answer you. And it will always give it from that bigger picture perspective. So if you want to ask, and this is not the Maria we know, but if you want to ask if you're going to get a new position that is going to be very financially successful, you're not going to get an answer from your guidance because that is not why they are there.
Yeah.
If you ask, are you going to get a new position that is going to enable you to do more for the highest good of all, you will get an answer.
Yeah.
You see?
Yes. So if we ask a question that's all about personality stuff, it's not going to come back from the guidance.
No.
Right.
Because the whole purpose of your guidance is to help you to understand that that does not matter. What matters is the transition to being soul infused. And your soul does not care if you're going to get a new car. It cannot drive. So what is the...
I was going to say it can't drive and it can't even travel in the car. So yeah, what's the point?
You see?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, John. So I'm not seeing any questions coming into the comments. Does anybody have, as John has asked for, oh, hang on, one coming in. There's one coming in. Here we go from Sarupa. Following from Kelly's question, is a despondency feeling linked to not making a choice differently? I've been feeling so frustrated the last couple of weeks. I can only see one thing to do.
That is your personality. Frustration is a personality energy. When you are feeling frustrated and despondent, It's not about your work, it's about you. And we will clarify that. You are only feeling and thinking about you. You are not seeing the bigger picture, that perhaps you are feeling as though your path is not clear, because there's a piece for you to include that you are not including or you are not seeing, not from a negative, but because you've been so accustomed to thinking a particular way, it seems as though there is nothing more than the way you are thinking because you've been doing it for such a long time. Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you step back and you look and you say, what if there was something other in how I go about what I am here to do? Then the energy shifts. One of the biggest problems for people in the spiritual community is social media speed. Not social media, but the fact that it is so fast.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about the spiritual journey, the sages and the masters could meditate on one word for a year before they understood the meaning of the word.
Mm.
If you do not have it immediately in your social media, you failed.
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah. Yeah.
The journey is not about achieving quickly. This is not what the Swarupa is looking to do, nor what the Kelly is looking to do, but it is what traps the spiritual worker because of that energy.
Mm.
All of you are on the brink of a different way of being, if only you would allow that way of being to demonstrate itself. Instead of doing that, you are trying to use everything you know that you have learned to get a different result from the same thing you are doing.
Yeah.
You are not
Yeah.
looking at what more. The Swarupa is frustrated because she is angry that it's not falling into place. The Kelly despondent because it's always fallen into place in the past. The question to both of them is, it did that because in those periods they were aligned to what they were connecting with.
Mm.
You have not found the next piece to connect with yet. And without that piece, the whole other horizon cannot open up. Because it's the golden key, do you see?
Yes. When you were describing it there, it felt like one is feel like really hard work, and the other one, when you said, to just let it show us, feels so relaxing. It's like you're standing on a mountaintop and just watching it appear. But when you're describing how we so usually are, you feel like your head immediately starts to hurt.
Because you are climbing the Everest,
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
be popular, trying to be the new guru, trying to be the authority,
Yeah.
when
Yes.
what is needed, and this is the key for those who have ears to hear, what is needed is for you to be willing to be the new expanded version of you. That heart opening, when it's allowed, shows the next piece of you that is ready to be integrated and shared.
Mm.
But while ever you got despondency, while ever you got frustration, the heart is closed.
Mm.
Because it's too busy being cranky about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you see?
Yes.
Does that
Sarika
clarify
said,
the Swarupa?
yes. She said, yes, I see, and thank you. And also just to say that Maria also said, thank you, John, a little bit earlier on. There's one question here from Amanda. Oh, no, hang on. She said, I think John just answered my question. But her question was, I have been speaking up against injustice. I normally wouldn't speak up, and I'm finding it difficult to. And that's all she says. I'm not sure what the question is, but she said you seem to have answered it.
Our answer would have been why. Is she on a crusade?
Oh,
Do you see?
yes, yeah.
Half the
Yeah.
information.
Yes, yes, that's true. So,
Very
Amanda, are you on a crusade?
She will say, not, of course not. No, of course not. Yes, I am.
Okay, well, that is everybody's questions from what I can see. Nothing else has come in, John. So if that's the case, thank you so much for your time and for all your answers. No.
We want to say one more thing. And it's got nothing to do with the questions. And everything to do with what is occurring in your world at this time of the fighting and the bombing and all of that situation. It is easy to see who is an aggressor if you have a vision of a victim. We would ask all of you that when you look at the battles that are occurring, you do not look at the people, you look at the energy. And in looking at the energy, you do not choose who to support or who not to support. You look at the energy to ask yourself what is trying to be birthed in the world into mass consciousness at this time, and how may I assist it? Do you see?
Yes.
Because it's easy to determine that this or that person or country is a victim. Everything has a purpose. And much of what is occurring in your world has been occurring because complacency and arrogance have taken over. Do you see?
Yes.
So do not pick this or that as being the only. Look at the energy. What is possible to come out of this? And how may I assist it? Do you see?
Yes.
Very good. Did that allow the Amanda time to answer?
No, she just said thank you, John.
You see, we only get half the story. Goodness gracious.
Oh.
However, we hope you have enjoyed this question and answer situation.
We have.
Of course, answers are not going to be so deep as if it was a personal conversation, because it's to apply to a lot of people. If you would like this to continue, to do again in 3 months of your time, please to advise your preference. If you think it's too much, you had enough, you're not wanting to know anymore, then we will just go on holiday.
Great.
As always, we thank you for the opportunity to be of service. Please go with our blessing and our love until we meet again. For I am John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Hello.
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 How did that go?
Very well. We got through every question.
Oh my word.
Yeah, we flew through the questions.
I've just seen Sarupa saying yes on Zoom, please. No, it's not going to be on Zoom for people to engage more because it's going to be chaotic. It's much better to do it this way, where you send in your questions, John answers them, and that way it allows everybody to have an opportunity to ask a question. If we do it on Zoom, we can get stuck on one question with John and then everybody's lost. So we will continue this way. And that's whether John says we're doing it on Zoom or not.
He did.
Thanks, Sarupa. But thanks for asking that, because it gave me a chance to clarify why we do it this way. It just makes it fair for people. Some people don't like to be on camera asking questions. And so asking for questions in advance means that their voice is heard, whereas on Zoom it wouldn't be. And they wouldn't ask it because if they were showing on Zoom, people will be able to see them. Some people are quite happy being behind the scenes. Okay. Anything else? No?
Seems to be everything.
Like to do it again. Well, you just better
Yeah.
start thinking up some more questions. What I'm thinking, and I don't know how we can do this, Ola, can we do a transcript from this?
Yes, in a different way, but yes, it's possible. Yeah.
Okay, then I think it might be an idea to do a transcript. And then we could put the transcript on the website.
Oh yeah, great.
People can go to johnthebeloved.com, not jtb.com, johnthebeloved.com. Give us time.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's a lot going on at the moment, but we could put it on johnthebeloved.com and you'll be able to download. I think you'll be able to download it. Yeah, you will. We'll put it in there as a resource or something. We'll post.
We'll sort it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no problems.
All right. Thank you very much. And there was a comment from John to Tony at the beginning, Elaine says.
Yes. He said that there's nothing left for Tony to journey through. He's had a lot of trauma, and there's nothing kind of out there still for him to go through.
Well, that's what you want to hear, isn't it? Yeah. 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 Okay.
Perhaps my glasses have stopped.
Your glasses
No, they keep falling off.
keep falling off because you don't clip them on your ears. There you go. There you go. All right.
He said he's going to explain it more, but
In a different, yeah. Okay.
maybe in a different environment.
Yeah.
All
right.
Yeah, but he did say it would be my the events over the last few weeks, I think. It's the end.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And it's good night from me. It's good night from him.
It's a good night from us three.
And it might be a good night from Ola.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.